Why poetry? Thank you very much. I thought you would never ask. Today, I'm going to provide to you my top three reasons why I write and why you should write poetry. Most videos will save their number one for the last. They'll save the best for last just so you make it all the way through the video. But just in case you don't watch the video all the way through, hopefully you'll at least catch my number one. And my number one reason for writing poetry is because I feel it is very therapeutic. No matter what you're going through, if you can't figure it out in your head and inside your heart, I highly recommend just put the pen to paper and just get it out of you. You'll wake up in the morning, jot what you're going through down, and hey, I feel a little bit better. I'm going to get through my day now. I can make it through today. Even if you wake up the next day and you feel the same way, do it all over again. Write it down on paper because we all want to see you tomorrow, if that makes sense. Even if you just jot it down in a journal that never, ever sees the light of day, or if you want to share what you've written down and what you've gone through with the world, you might help a complete stranger go through or get through whatever they're going through just by reading something that you made. And it's therapy all the way around. I landed in Germany when I was 18 with the military, and I just went off the rails because, yeah, I partied through high school. And as an 18-year-old in Germany, where it seems like it's free reign, yeah, I went off the rails. And that reflected in my writing. My writing became more aggressive and destructive. And I should have written more because that would have saved me a lot of bodily harm. But looking back now, I could see that I was actually providing myself with my own therapy. And that really helped me get out from underneath that dark cloud I put on top of myself. In 1990, my father passed away at 43, and I was on the other side of the world. And again, it reflected in my writing. My writing became very dark. And again, without even knowing it at the time, I was providing myself therapy. And even to this day, even once I got back to the States in 1992 up to today, if I can't figure it out in my head or in my heart, I got to get it down on paper. So that is my number one reason why I write poetry, is for the therapy. Now, number two, which is basically, it's just writing poetry is so free because it doesn't have to fit in a box. Well, if you want to write like the greats of old, your poetry has to be this shape. Your poetry has to be written just like this so it flows elegantly. No, it doesn't. Poetry doesn't have to fit in a box like, let's say, a short story or a novel, because those, I'm not bagging on them because they have their own formulas. But to me, poetry doesn't have to fit in a box like a story. A story pretty much has to fit in a box. It has to have certain things. It has to be written a certain way, a certain order. Therefore, it has to be in this box. Poetry is like a wild child. It could run around that box all day long, knowing it doesn't have to fit inside there. And Bruce Lee had a philosophy when he was talking about, he was given an interview and he was saying, be like water. And to me, this little piece is like poetry. And I'll read it for you really quick so you kind of know what I'm talking about, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Do I know what I'm talking about? I hope so. But this is what Bruce Lee said during an interview that I caught on to. Empty your mind Be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. And that's what I apply to my poetry. It doesn't have to rhyme all the time. It could be any shape or form, and it's just so free. No matter what pops into your head, you could just write it down on paper and you could play with it later and do what you want with it. But you got it out of you, if that made sense. And the third reason I uh, write poetry is basically, do I want to file it under entertainment, if I want to call it that? But I get little scenes in my head and I get it down on paper. I get thoughts and feelings, I get it down on paper. And the entertaining aspect is what I write, I'm able to get a reaction from whoever reads it. I could either make them smile a little bit, I could make them bust out laughing, uh, I could put a tear in their eye, a knot in their throat. You tug at the heartstrings if you really hit home and they really identify with it. It's that reaction. Or you could just send a chill up their spine and pretty much scare the crap out of them with what you've written, which, yeah, that would be entertainment. So, yeah, that's pretty much my top three reasons why I write poetry. And if you write poetry for a different reason, please share it in the comments, and maybe I'll incorporate that into my creativity arsenal. And if you want to subscribe to keep tabs on me, awesome. If not, like I said, always say, feel free to stop by anytime just to hang out and see what I'm up to. And please just let the ink flow. I thank you very much for watching this, and I hope you got something out of it. And it's like an AA meeting. Take what you could use and leave the rest. So hopefully you find something in here today that you really enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Doink.